Hello guys, this is Christopher Lee Angeles of the Psychology of Self-Improvement. Today, what I would like to share about is the psyche of effective and efficient relationship. Pag-uusapan natin ito ngayong araw na to is about relationship with other people and businesses. What will I share to you today are the following ingredients how to have an effective relationship with other people involving the psychology or processes, what it makes very exciting and challenging. Again, having a relationship is both exciting, chaotic, and challenging. So, a relationship requires a lot of effort and experimentation in adjustment toward your personality, toward your character. So, hindi ganun kadali ang magkaroon ng harmonious relationship with other people as well as your business associate. What I will show you for now are the following characteristic or methods how to maintain a healthy relationship with other people, or the efficiency and effectiveness of relationship not only towards other people as well to yourself. Why it is very important? It is important because it will not only hasten your effectivity toward other people, but also the friendship that you would like to build with your associates and with your other groups or that influence you, and also the peers that you would like to belong to. The first characteristic that I would like to share with you is meron muna akong kodigo just to take a glimpse again on what will I share to you. Okay, let us understand that people needs people. People needs other people in order for us to grow. There is a saying that no man is an island. So, people are created to be with people. If people is living alone, perhaps we could not either appreciate what we are created for. So, people needs other people because we are needy people. In order for us to build a solid relationship with other people, we must understand our belongingness and needs with other people. Although it is said that it is very hard to understand when you are with other people, there is a mix of differences. But actually, that is the ingredient toward building a relationship with other people. There is a angriness or not acceptance within us, or sometimes we separate ourselves with other people just because of the differences. But of course, the differences with other people is a character that goes in all of us. It does not differentiate us from other entities or other creation that we are separated from others. We are actually created to be with other people because people need to understand that with other people we can learn and share different things that what we would like to do. Although there is sometimes a difficulty of appreciation, there is negativity, there is a lot of problem, but we must realize that these are the characteristics of building a relationship towards our own peers and our own groups. Respecting others is a character that you would like to adjust your behavioral pattern so that there is a mutual understanding between you and the individual. Respect is a kind of behavior that you likely to be evaluating the likeness of the individual, and of course it is also a challenge for us to learn something important from that person or entity. Respect is a universal factor that bridge us towards other particular characteristic of an individual. Respect is a universal language that behaves within our cognitive thinking, and it also builds a genuine characteristic inside us that help us to understand not only the pattern on how connecting with people. This universal character is important because it builds a serious communication level toward other people. Because the character of respect requires by heart. It requires an effort that you are actually trying to understand the philosophical view of that person, and in that characteristic we will be able to determine the pattern on how we should connect with one another. Effective solution of having a relationship is to have a win-win situation agreement for both parties. What do I mean by having a win-win situation? And a win-win situation is an agreement for both parties that are to be equally rewarded. Ito yung pamamaraan para ang dalawang partidos or any individual has a particular effort or goal towards a solution to a very specific problem. So if ever they have an agreement for both parties, it builds a solid reputation of acceptance. Not only it builds a stronger reputation of acceptance, it is actually injecting a self-respect to each other. Sa isang grupo, kung walang win-win situation, nagkakaroon ng confusion. And ang mahirap pa doon when confusion starts within these groups or any form of relationship, it destroys the fundamentals, attribution, or any relationship that is built within the core of understanding. So, a win-win situation is a reward for both groups that there is a mutual understanding for both of them to push or an acceptance towards the beautification of a solid mutual understanding. And the most important of all, having a win-win situation is actually builds a serious friendship and discover more of the strengthening of ties towards any culture or any peers and acceptance. And the most encouraging of all things is a win-win situation rewards the effort of both groups. It will be able to bind all things together without any difficulties. Characteristic of building relationship is listening without prejudging. Why it is important to listen without prejudging? Listening is probably the most difficult character to build within ourselves. Listening requires the most effort of all, because when we listen, we don't speak. We just sometimes listen to the whole argument of the individual or clarification from that individual. Listening requires the utmost characteristic of effort, because You don't have to speak for yourself. You just listen to the person, what he is saying, from his emotion, from his thinking, or from his philosophical point of view. Why it is difficult to listen? Sometimes it is difficult to listen if we are bound to talk and talk and talk without actually understanding what we know about. So, listening gives us the parameters of distinguishing the problem for a certain point of view. It is actually a criteria that inhibits a characteristic of our sound mind to evaluate and decipher if the thing that we're going to listen is very important or not, or we're trying to bring comfort for that person who is sometimes in agony or seeking help. So listening is a characteristic or a judgment of reasonable logic to give a very sound advice depending on a particular problem or development towards a certain period of the situation. So, listening is a very good building process of communication in relationship because it suits someone else's heart if she or he has a problem. Sometimes, ang maganda rin sa pakikinig is when we listen, we just let out the emotion of that other person kung meron siyang problema. It suits his needs or problem. And when we lend an ear to a person that needs to be listening, it gives him a personal comfort. So it builds confidence within oneself, and the two characteristics that I have mentioned, respect and win-win situation, we can integrate this into listening. Because when we listen, we respect that person, and we offer a win-win situation for the person who are trying to share his difficulties. So, both aspect of respect, win-win situation, and listening are combined with this character of communication. It gives us the ability to not only bring comfort, but solidify our experience of communication towards building a better relationship with other people. Last but not the least, in forming a efficient form of relationship is developing a radiant atmosphere of conversation. What do I mean by developing a radiant atmosphere of conversation? Developing a radiant form of conversation is actually giving a ability of comfortability towards the person you are talking. Example, if you are in a conversation, you bring him to a very comfortable place where you can talk, you can share your ideas, the surrounding is actually comfortable, and the scenery is radiant to the eyes, the place is quiet, and the food is palatable to eat or delicious to eat. This is a kind of environment or atmosphere that comforts or ease the difficulty of communication, because your surrounding brings a very good atmosphere of conversation towards a better understanding of a certain point of view or agreement towards what you are talking about. Radiant atmosphere is important because it comforts the individual's behavior, the individual's character, because deep inside us there are negative things that sometimes bother us because of our surroundings. And if we bring that person to a radiant atmosphere that comfort his eyes in form of beauty, his ears in form of silence, and his stomach towards that character. So, if we want to build a solid conversation, sometimes we must consider our surroundings if that is applicable towards experiencing a better conversation toward that person. Not only it will bring happiness or peacefulness, it actually counts the aspect of disagreement, because a radiant or atmospheric surroundings is showing respect and a win-win situation towards your partner or a group that you would like to share something very important. And if he finds that his surrounding is very enticing and peaceful, the breach of communication is actually having a creative effect. The psyche between communication level is in form of stillness and compounding the character of creative or uniqueness behavior within ourselves. So again, may this little piece of talk in a form of video help us understand how to build a solid relationship toward one another, towards psyching ourselves or bringing this character inside us. So again, this is Christopher the Angeles of the Psychology of Self-Improvement. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.